Good day everyone, welcome once again to my YouTube channel, The Great Check, and this is your host Jerry, and thank you for dropping by my channel. And if this is your first time to visit my channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, you can click your subscribe button so that you will be notified if I have a new video uploaded on my channel. And please don't forget also to click the notification bell so that we could be notified if I have new videos uploaded, so that you could also be the first one to receive or be informed of the videos that have just been uploaded. So in this video I'm gonna share to you one of the things that we need to know as I'm teaching disaster readiness and risk reduction subject. So since we just experienced a magnitude of 5 point something just this morning of an earthquake, so almost the whole province of Leyte to Cebu and even in our place we have experienced, though we are far from the epicenter of the earthquake, but we still have experienced the shaking, the ground shaking. So in this video I'm gonna share to you one of the important things that we need to know also, as this is our responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the government. The responsibility of the government is what individual cannot do, the government will come in and do their part. But to be safe is our responsibility. And we have to be informed, we have to learn, we have to study, especially when it comes to this type of hazards, as we are going to learn also the difference between disaster, hazards, and disasters. So we also will learn that earthquake is also a hazard. It's not a disaster but a hazard. As disaster is defined as a dangerous phenomenon, substance, human activity or condition that may cause life, or condition that may cause loss of life, injury, or other health impacts, property damage, loss of livelihoods and services, social and economic disruption, or individual damage. That means, in a very short word, that hazard is the cause of the disaster. And disaster is what it says here. A disaster is a serious disruption of the functioning of a community or a society involving widespread human, material, economic, or environmental losses and impacts which exceeds the ability of the affected community or society to cope using its own resources. So there are also other definition of disaster. According to UNI SDR of 2019, which is also adopted by the Philippine DRR law of 2010, that disaster is often described as a result of the combination of the exposure to hazard. So that means it's a result. Hazard is a cause and disaster is a result. So earthquake is a hazard. It is not a disaster, but it is a hazard. A hazard that may cause dysfunctioning of a community or a society involving widespread human blah blah blah. So with this, in this particular sense, since we have learned about, since we experienced earthquake just this morning, but before we go further with what, because earthquake has also different types, and also yes, it has different types, and we also have, we'll also learn that one later on. But at first we have to narrow down first our responsibility, since we have to make something like make it smaller to cope up, or to not only to solve the problem, but also we have to prevent the problem to not to occur in what we are not expecting it to happen in us. So at first we need to identify, as I teach this to my students, that before I teach them what earthquake is, so I just had to teach them first the hazards that may cause, or hazard that may cause problems later on when the hazard strikes, and disasters will come in, or disasters will follow. So I just let them first identify classroom hazards that can lead to disasters. So as what we just said, that hazard is something that may cause loss of life, and also disaster is a result of it. So we just have to also identify classroom, as what I said to my students, classroom hazards. What if we also have to, or identify also our house hazards? So before the earthquake strikes, we need to first identify the hazard that we can find in our houses, in our house, which can lead to disasters. So probably if you go to some of the buildings, even at the malls, even at school, in any public places, even inside the ship, or even anywhere that, especially if that place is organized by individuals, that because it is already one of the requirements that if you have the if you have the establishment, you need to have those. One of those requirements is you need to have the hazard map. So what if we also have to have our house hazard map too, since as what I said, the responsibility of individuals, especially his family, to be safe, even himself, is an individual's responsibility, and we need to do that one. We need to know that one. We need to learn those things so that we will be safe. Not because, especially if I also consider the what happened in Mandawi and also in Cebu, that there are so many cases of fires. If I could think about it, let the government solve the problem of it, but it is an individual's, and since fire is also a hazard, so we need to know that one to how to prevent from occurring fire to occur. That's what we don't expect it to occur. And also including our house, since we this is our place, and the safety of it depends on us. And we have to, at first, it is our responsibility to identify house hazards. So how to identify those hazards in our house is, at first we have to identify the hazard, and its example of the house hazards is the shelf at the corner near the door can fall on someone. Example, if you have a shelf in your house and there are things on it, or the shelf is not so strong that if you see it, it can probably be fallen, and it could probably fall on someone. So that is one of the examples of hazards. Or if you see that the wall of your house, it already has a little crack, and you don't have to just watch on it, but you need to record that one, and you need to tell your family members that someday, somehow, it will fall or it will collapse. If especially if even though there is no earthquake, if the house, if you are not careful with your house, there is a possibility that the hazard that you notice, that you see, will really it will, like for example, if as what I said, that if your wall is or if your wall already has a crack, and you don't have to just let it be, you need to you need to do something for that, so that it will not in sometime, or it will not collapse in any time. So you have to do something for that if you want to have your family safe. And example, the second one is if you have the slippery, like in my place, as what I saw, as what I noticed, as what I experienced when we have our floor mat, and if there's a like water spilled on it, and if my kids could be slid on it, and then could be slid on it, and then there was a, like as what I experienced, they fell, and sometimes their head bang on the floor, and I really don't like that one. So what I did is I had to just, if I pitch some water, I just let my wife to wipe the spilled water on the floor mat, so that my kids would be safe in all the time, as that would be part of our lives, of daily life, that I have to pitch some water, and I have to pass by the sala or the living room, and our living room has a floor mat. So that is one of the things that we need to do and know as parents, or even anybody in the house, anybody in any member of the family that already know the hazards and the things that probably could cause something that would damage either by health, or either our health or our property. It could injure us, so we just or even lost our livelihoods and services. So what we should do is we need to identify those hazards specifically in our house, and just if it's okay for you, just have a sheet of cartolina or manila paper, and you have to have coloring materials, and then you need to map your house like aerial view. If it is okay for you, you need to plot those the places, the rooms, the places of your house, the restroom, the dining room, the kitchen, and also the bedrooms, anywhere in your house, even inside your fence or outside your fence. If you could see any hazard, you have to just draw it, then label it, what place, which place, and where you can find those hazards, and try to color them with red one. And then red one, you have to put a legend, and if it is red, then if you label, if you have like a marker which is a red one, that means it's a hazard. And you also have to find the safe place if there's a problem, if the hazard if there is a hazard, and if there is an event that triggers the hazard or triggers a disaster, especially those hazards, then where you should go to find a safe place. And that is our responsibility. And so we have to have that one. If it is a safe place, then we have to label also. We have to label it with blue color. so that the whole family could see which which place has a hazard and what type of hazard. You also have to just label them, and then this would also be a great help for the whole family, and even the people around you, even you yourself. If you have this, if you have this, if you do this, since as what it says here, that it is our responsibility to be safe, and not only for ourselves but our family members and even the people around us. And if we do this, then if there is a hazard, a big hazard like earthquake, then we already know where to go and which one would be that would cause any bad things that we don't want to happen in us. So guys, until this time, until this, we just have to just cut our discussion this time, in this moment, so that next video I will share to you what are the types of earthquakes. And those earthquakes would also be like, we could also, by knowing them, we could also be prepared ourselves if those things will happen, or even before those things happen. So this, hopefully that this video that I've shared to you, this video that I've, this information that I gave you would help us to be prepared for all the things that might be happening in us as we are living in the last days. That almost all the hazards and even calamities, that disasters that may happen in any minute because of what we as human do for the nature, especially because we really want to have the easy life, but those things that we call technology is really also have damaged our environment, and that also lead us to really face hazards that we don't want to happen in us, but those are the result of what we have done for our environment. So guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so that you will be notified if I have new videos that I uploaded on the internet on my channel, and then check or click your notification bell so that you'll be notified if I have that new video uploaded. So bye bye everyone, thank you for watching, and God bless you.